Welcome to Pastors and People 2, the podcast where spirituality and daily living intersect. Your host, a Methodist pastor, invites you on a journey through the sacred pages of the Bible, exploring how its timeless wisdom illuminates our path in this ever-changing world. Each week, we'll delve into Scripture, share stories of inspiration, and reflect on current events through the lens of faith. Whether you're seeking guidance, inspiration, or simply a moment of peace in your busy day, join us as we discover together how the divine can transform the ordinary into the extraordinary. So grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and let's start the conversation. This is Pastors and People 2, where every story matters and every voice is heard. Welcome aboard.
Hello and welcome to Pastors and People 2. I am Pastor Charlene Thomas, here with my husband Dave. We have been missing you for a couple of weeks. With the Easter season, we did not get a podcast episode recorded. Slackers, absolute slackers. But we come to you today with some special guests. So we have a program at our churches called Community on Stage. It is a program for different generations of people. We have the younger generation that comes in, youth ages 11 through 16. We offer a summer academy. It is a week-long, like 6 hours each day where the young people can come in and work with working professionals. We bring a band in from Nashville called the Wonderlands, and the kids loved working with them. And so they learn how to put a band together, they learn how to play, they learn how to advance a show. They learn all sorts of backstage, behind the scenes, crew type things. And then they also work with photographer Laura Beta from Laura's Lenses and Ellen Lang, who works with Laura's Lenses. And they learn photography skills and all sorts of graphic design and content creation. And then after they complete the academy, they get to come into St. Paul's on Tuesdays and use what we call the Content Creators Lab. So they get to use all the equipment that they learned on. So last year was our first year of having the Community on Stage Summer Academy. And I have some of our alumni from that academy here with us today. So we have Grace Gibson. Grace is a soon-to-be graduate of Columbian High School. And she attended the academy last year, but this year you're going to have a different role at the academy. You're going to be working as an intern. So first of all, tell me what you thought about last year's academy.
Well, I thought that it was honestly the best and greatest opportunity they ever put on. Everybody worked so well together. We blended straight away. We had a hiccups here and there, but we fixed that, and now we were amazing. And
what was your favorite part of the academy?
Honestly, graphic design.
Really?
Yes.
That
not gonna lie.
I'm
sorry. Laura is like, I don't know. She just, it's a new thing for me that I got to figure out and everything, especially on Canva.
Yeah.
Because I never got to really know how that all works.
Yeah.
And Laura just taught me step by step, and it was just incredible.
And that's one of the cool things about Academy is I would have thought you would have said singing and working with the band because you are a music girl. But one of the things that we wanted people to do and young people to do is expose themselves to something, a new skill, to develop something new. And so we asked them to be brave and try new things, and it ended up being one of your favorites.
Yeah.
That's super cool. Did you use any of those skills at school?
Not really.
Okay.
Ever since it's online that I'm doing.
Gotcha.
So it's not really.
Cool. But you're going to use them this summer as you intern, and then you're going to look forward to joining the real world. And getting a job and all of those things. Yeah. Well, it was awesome to have you last year at Academy, and I'm so excited that you're coming back as an intern to work with the kids. I think it's amazing. So thanks for being with us today.
Of course.
All right, we're going to swap out, and I think we're going to invite a new friend over, see who's brave. All right, who wants to be brave? Addie Schweitzer wants to be brave. She sure does. Come on over, Adeline. And if you hear background noise, it's because the children that I told to be quiet are not being quiet. Hi, Addie.
Hi.
Hi. So you went to Summer Academy last year. Mm-hmm. What was your favorite part?
Probably like not even any of the classes. It's just like Jill, one of the teachers. She was just my favorite part of the entire thing.
The Wonderlands were amazing, weren't they? What was it about Jill that you liked so much?
She was just really nice.
Did she make learning comfortable? Because she asked you guys to do some hard stuff. You were singing some Taylor Swift. That's right. But you learned a lot from her. And they were just fun to hang out with, weren't they?
Yes.
Yeah. So are you going to invite a friend to come with you to Academy this year?
Yes, and hopefully her mother says yes.
Yes, hopefully all of our parents say yes. Amen. That's right. And so you're looking forward to doing Academy again. What about coming in on Tuesdays? Has that been fun? You guys have sang for the church. You sang at Christmas time for the church, and you also got to sing with the Off Our Rockers. Where did you sing with the Rockers at? Do you remember?
The Ritz Theater.
Yep, you sang at the Ritz Theater, which was super cool. And you got to sing with someone special in the Rockers, right? Who's in the Rockers that you got to sing with?
My grandma.
Yes, your grandma is in the Off Our Rockers chorus, which is the more seasoned adult section of Community on Stage. That is for older folks that come together once a week and that they sing with the Off Our Rockers community chorus. And so they played the Ritz, sold way more tickets than we thought possible, but they were able to just sell a good crowd at the Ritz and perform, and they sang with these guys. So is there anything else you want to share with us about Academy or Content Creator Lab? Just that the pastor that hangs out there is like the coolest person you've ever met in your life? Did you want to say that? I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but we all know it. Maybe. All right. Thank you, Addie. All right, we're going to get one of the boys up here. Oh, who could it be? Who could it be? Someone whose name rhymes with Michael Thacker. Oh, I think it is. He has tried to work his way into another room in the church, for those of you who cannot see. And now he is very, very slowly making his way over to the microphone. Welcome, sir. Welcome, Mr. Thacker. You got to lean up and talk into the microphone. You act like this is your first time.
It is.
You are a theater kid. You are a musician. How many instruments do you have at home?
I'm not specifying.
You're not specifying.
I may be a hoarder.
You might be a instrument hoarder. Is it over 50?
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe over 50. Okay.
That might be the case.
That might be. What's your very favorite, though?
Oh, trumpet.
Trumpet is your favorite. What's your second favorite?
Bass.
Bass. You are a bass player. But you didn't play bass at Academy last year, right?
No.
What did you do?
I played drums.
How was that?
Everybody wanted to steal my position.
Everyone wanted to steal your position? You had to fight?
Yeah, that George.
George? What? George wanted to be the drummer?
Yeah, constantly.
Why did I not know this? How did I miss all this drama? I did not know there was Fight Club at Community on Stage.
I was about to fight him.
No, just for the internet, there were no fights.
Oh, no.
Plus, I mean, George was a big guy. I think you would have had your hands
Yeah, he
full.
was a big old boy.
So what was your favorite part of Summer Academy?
Well, man, I can't remember his name, but the bass player.
Oh,
Yeah.
Nick. Nick was my favorite, too.
Yeah.
I liked Nick a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a very quiet guy. Very stereotypical bass player, just kind of chill, going along with it. He was pretty cool. He's actually not part of the Wonderlands band. He plays and lives in Columbus and just came because their bass player was out that week. So, did you know that? Are you just learning that information
I
now?
knew that, but is he coming?
He is coming.
Oh, he is?
Absolutely. You know the cool thing about the band that they As soon as we ended Academy last year, they were asking us if we were going to do it again this year because they wanted to come back. They wanted to come back. So as meaningful it was for you guys, it was meaningful for them too. And they learned from you. And they've actually gone on to work with some college kids in a similar kind of setting, and School of Rock. They've been able to go into School of Rock and teach. So as much as they were teaching, they were learning too. So what about Tuesdays? Have you enjoyed coming to the church on Tuesdays?
You could say that.
You could say that. You take music very seriously, don't you? Yes. And it's putting a band together is hard, isn't it? Oh, you're looking at your band mates over there. There's a reason why bands break up. I know. Yeah, it's not all Yoko Ono. Sometimes it's the band themselves. It's hard to learn to compromise, isn't it? And so you keep turning and looking at them.
No, not them.
Not them. Oh,
Cooper.
we're naming people. We're calling people out their names. Oh, this might be our wackiest episode.
Confirm nor deny that.
Oh, we have.
I can confirm it.
You can confirm it. So, do you think that it's important that one of the skills that you came here on Tuesdays to learn wasn't just how to play instruments better, wasn't just how to be a better musician, but it was also about learning to work in a group? And sometimes I have to admit that I let you guys frustrate each other. And I know this is
You really
late
did that
breaking news.
to me?
I did not always, not to you specifically, I did not always intervene as quickly as I could have, air quotes, Cooper. I did not, because one of the things that you had to learn was how to figure stuff out.
Well, you could have helped.
I did help. But I also have seen a lot of growth in you guys, and a lot of maturing over the course of the year in learning how to have better people skills, I guess. And that's one of those soft skills that you've learned at the lab. I mean, we're still working on it, right? We're still working on that. So are you going to be part of the Community on Stage Academy in 2025?
I already sent it in.
Oh, you did? And what about, are you going to play drums again? Are you going to let George have his way? Oh,
George, I don't think he's coming, though. Didn't he move?
I don't know. Did he move? I don't know.
I think he moved.
So, are you going to work with Nick and try to take over the bass?
Yes. That is
What
the plan.
if there are a million bass players
There isn't
signing
gonna
up
be.
as we speak?
There isn't going to be.
There could be. You don't know. We could
I
put this
do.
out on the internet, and all the bass players in the Tri-County area will say, I have to go play
What
bass.
bass players? That's
There might be people rising up.
one.
In one bass. We had a girl bass player last year.
Well,
Remember that?
this George had to take that over, too.
This George, he was a problem.
Yeah. Even worse than Cooper.
We're not gonna name people in the room, son. We're not gonna name people in the room. Even worse than no one to be named. All right. Well, internet, you're welcome for this fantastic. And thank you, Michael. Can't wait to hear you play bass. All right. Tom? Let's hear from Tom next. Tom Vicek. That is right. Welcome to the podcast.
Good to be here.
Tom. Yeah, good to be here. Like a seasoned professional. My favorite thing ever. Tom, were you just like 35 years old when you were born? Is that what happened?
A lot of people say that to me, but
came
I
out
highly
of,
doubt it.
just commentating. Just, hey, I've called you here for this meeting.
Sounds about right for me. I've attended quite a few meetings.
Just an old soul. So, talk to me about Academy last summer, Tom.
Academy was wonderful. It definitely boosted my understanding on music. It helped me with my music skills because I'm a musician. I play music all day, every day if I'm able to.
Right.
I love being able to bond with everybody, meeting the Wonderlands, meeting everybody here. Because I didn't really know you. I didn't know Charlene. I didn't know Mimi. I didn't know anybody really.
Right.
And then coming here, I knew all you by the end of the week, like you guys were family.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I wanted, because I didn't have an experience like this when I was a kid. I mean, I was part of...
Not many people do.
I wasn't in the marching band. I was part of the Flag Corps, which is just like marching band plus.
Marching band on steroids.
That's right. Like next level marching band. So I wasn't in the band, and I sang. And I was in the choir in school, but I never had this kind of experience, which was like working in small groups with working musicians and hearing what it's like to tour. And so,
Exactly, and
yeah.
that's one of the big things. They worked with you one-on-one. They helped you out. If you got stuck somewhere, they'd come to your rescue. I mean, they were like a friend that nobody has.
That's awesome. And I know that you guys had a huge impact on them.
Oh, yeah.
So you're coming back for 2025 Academy?
Of course. I'll come back year after year.
Amazing. So you guys are going to be the alumni of the group. And so Cooper thinks that gives him some immeasurable amount of power, which his dreams will be dashed. He says slightly more power. It gives him no power. Let's just be clear.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Other than alumni status, he thinks it gives him legend
Gives him bragging
status.
rights.
That's right. You can say last year when I was here.
Like 10, 15 years later in the black and white photos.
In the black and white photo. Rude.
We will be good. We will hopefully be considered.
Someday when you accept your Grammy, please give me a shout out and say, I would like to thank, first of all, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And then, I'll be on your staff when you get your Grammy. All right, that's been settled. I'm gonna file my retirement paperwork with the conference immediately because I will be going on tour. Do we get a bus? People? I've always wanted a bus.
I'll be the boss of that.
You'll be the boss, not a boss. Trust me, I know of all of you who thinks they're going to be the boss. Let's be real. I'm the boss.
That's a fact.
Amen. Facts.
Amen.
I want to know if we're going to have a bus to ride in. A bus.
That's a great idea.
All-white school bus.
An all-white school bus.
No.
Can we call it the cool bus? Is that what's it? Oh, no. Okay. Look, my dreams are being dashed already. Tom, anything else you want to share about Community on Stage?
For any of the parents of children that are in a musical profession of like playing piano or just singing or wanting to get into like photography or videography, this is a great opportunity to do that. I mean, it teaches you so many skills. And me personally, I walked in kind of scared, didn't know what was going to happen. And then I walked out, I was excited for the next year. So I recommend to any of the parents or grandparents that are watching this, spread the word, get your child, grandchild, your cousin, your niece, your nephew, get them in. It's
Amen.
well worth it.
I love it. And if anyone would like to know, Tom will be running for Congress probably in the next year or so. So
Not true.
You just have that demand of the room. Like, yeah. All right. Thank you, Tom. I think we got to send your old buddy Cooper over here. All right, Coop.
Yeah, like your responsibility for you.
Welcome to the pod, Cooper. Oh, and Wreck-It Ralph.
If I don't kill
yes,
mice.
if you don't wreck the whole broadcast.
Because I am both a fully grown man and a 14-year-old
You
at
are
the
a
same
fully
time.
grown man child. All right,
Yes.
Cooper. So tell me about your experience at Academy last summer.
It was a ride because you couldn't exactly tell where it was going to end the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
As in, I started out as, hey, I get to finally break away from the choir stuff where the girls absolutely steamrolls the guys and the guys get to do nothing they ever liked.
Cooper is disgruntled. Cooper is disgruntled a bit.
To being able to, at least to a certain extent, do what I actually wanted to do.
Yeah, that's
and
awesome. And you and I have had several conversations about your voice being heard, right? And that's important.
We don't talk about that.
We don't talk about that? No, it's important to me because that was one of the things that I wanted to know what kinds of things you all wanted to accomplish, especially on Tuesdays when you come in. And so I'm very glad that you talked to me and shared your thoughts and opinions. I think it's awesome.
I'm just the person who stays quiet
I'm sorry, what now, Cooper?
I'm the person who kind of is almost like afraid to speak their mind.
When does
a lot
that
of the
start? When does that kick in? Because you've always freely shared your opinion, Cooper.
After I've thought over that opinion
That is
multiple
true.
times, but
That is true. I just like to give you a
yeah.
hard time because you never know when I'm kidding or when I'm not. And
yeah, well, it's getting easier to decipher with
is
time.
it?
Yeah.
Cooper, you are the best. So what was your favorite thing in Academy that you did?
Honestly, being able to just work with actual trained professional musicians who do this for a living and not just a random person off the street.
That's right. Not just
Street
Pastor
who's like
Charlene.
not from Tiffin.
That's
Like-
right. Yeah. So we brought them in. They live in Nashville, but they're from different parts of the Midwest and live in Nashville now. Tour. They are touring musicians. They were on tour when they left Academy last year and have continued to tour. So yeah, these are working professionals. And even Laura Beta, she's not from this area in Tiffin, but she is from over by Youngstown, somewhere over there. But she has her own small business. She's a young person that has built a business from the ground up. And you got to learn from those people, and that is amazing. So you're coming back for 25 Academy. We all know you
Yeah.
are the legendary Cooper, and you will be.
I mean, with like alumni status, kind of. I wasn't joking that like we get supreme power, but like
Supreme power.
it's kind of a bragging right.
It is
in
a
a
bragging
weird
right.
way.
You were part of the first class
with
through the summer
with the
academy.
black and white photos that are probably
Cooper.
going to never happen, but
Cooper.
still.
I mean, I can turn the photos we took of you black and white if you
I
would
was
like.
I was kidding because of
Well, do you like headshots?
because of old yearbook photos and
Cooper.
that stuff.
It was last year.
It feels like 5 years
Does
to me.
it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because of kind of the events of what happened from
Sure.
like it's almost a year at this point.
Yeah,
it's
it is.
late April.
It's almost a year.
Yeah.
It will be June before we know it. So
But it felt way longer than it actually was, for
Yeah.
me at least.
yeah, that happens. Life,
Yeah.
different seasons of life go faster and some go very slow. And that's
Yeah.
one of the things that I hope in all of the skills that you guys learned, more than anything else, I hope that you have felt a sense of community. That you have friends that you may not have had before, that you know
Yeah.
me, that you know Shar, that you know Mimi, that you know all of the other professionals that work with you. So,
Just one thing that kind of surprised me, honestly, was that for the kind of size that we had, the amount of, I feel like as the grades went up, the amount of kids per grade almost went down in
Yeah.
a weird way.
well, last year was our first year, and we had no idea who would show up and didn't really know the ages are 11 to 16. And so we didn't know who was going to be there. So hopefully this year, you guys, the alumni with the supreme power, will
not
invite
supreme
your
power.
friends, and we'll get some more, older kids. So, Cooper, that's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing your experience at Academy, and I'm looking forward to June being here soon. All right. Thanks, Coop. So those are some of the Summer Academy alumni that came and participated in our academy last year. It was, all joking aside, and you kind of get a glimpse of my relationship with them. They're all great kids, and I love each and every one of them. And I am looking forward to kind of who's coming back and the new kids that we're going to meet, and hearing them talk. I mean, they give me a hard time. I give them a hard time, but listening to them talk about how the academy was meaningful to them is very meaningful for me.
All right. Yeah, that was interesting to find out what they liked out of it, what they got out of it. There was a couple surprises in there. So that was cool. What did you get out of Summer Academy?
a couple things, probably for professionally creating something brand new, something that did not exist before we came up with this idea. I mean, of course, there are music programs and there are camps and there are, you know, in our local town, there's Tiffin University that has a wonderful program under the direction of Brad Reese, who is the head of the music department. And theirs is a little more tech savvy because they have a recording studio. So they do different things than what we do. Heidelberg has an awesome camp that the focus is a little bit more on orchestra music, on band music, because they have amazing professors and directors over there. Ours was more of all of these kids want to be content creators. They all want to be YouTubers. They all want to be, you know, streamers. They all want to be the next, you know, whoever the streamer of the day is or the creator of the day. And so we wanted to give them some skills that and let them use equipment that's accessible to them. So a lot of what we did was through iPads and phones and yes, we had professional photography equipment, but we showed them how to use Canva. And so applications that they were going to be able to use. So ours was kind of more of a introductory, kind of a rubber meets the road. Like, this is what the kids are going to have access to. Let's teach them. Because so many times our young people believe that in order to get a following online, they have to do outrageous and
Sometimes stupid.
Or
Sometimes
dangerous,
illegal.
and they'll do things. And yeah, I mean, pranks will go wrong. People get arrested, but they think they have to make this big splash because the internet is an infinite place, and so they think they have to do something wild and crazy. And one of the things that we really wanted them to understand is, look, you matter. Your story matters. You are important, and I believe that God created you to be a person of worth, and so you don't have to go online and compromise yourself, your values, just to get a following. That's not necessary. So being able to create something new with that kind of understanding and that kind of hope was really cool to watch it develop. It was a ton of work. We made a ton of mistakes, but the kids, you can hear the kids had a good experience. The professionals had a good experience. So there's that, the kind of the professional side. Being able to receive grant money from the East Ohio Conference to seed our dream, being able to receive monies from Tiffin Community Foundation, from local sponsors, from, you know, people that just wanted to contribute, and to be able to work with neighborhood partners like Forte Music and all of our churches kind of stepped in. That was really cool. So that was community in a way that I didn't expect to be touched by. On a personal level, I just wanted the kids to have an experience like I didn't have growing up.
Sure.
I think if we can give to our young people that which we would have liked and didn't have, I think we can make a really big impact for the next generation. And so I would have loved for someone to have taken me as, you know, I didn't start singing till I was a sophomore in high school and didn't have great confidence. If a working professional had come and listened to me and believed in me and poured into me, I mean, who knows what that would have done for me as a young person.
Oh, absolutely.
So that part was very, very cool. Just to know the kids, everyone who knows me, as much as I give them a hard time, the kids are my favorite kind of people. So to be able to work with them and to know them, and then to have them know me in a different way, sometimes, especially young people, who struggle with the church will not look at pastors or priests or people in church leadership as a person. They get to see me as a person, and they give me a hard time, and I give them a hard time, and they make me mad, and I make them mad. And at the end of the day, we still, love each other and figure it out. And so that has been extremely meaningful to me. It's been wonderful.
One thing I've noticed is you are building confidence in these kids, and I think confident kids can change the world. I really do.
Absolutely.
And when you're talking about you want to show them how to be content creators the right way, excuse me, without having to do things just outlandish. I think of Jelly Roll got his start on YouTube. He's said that in many interviews. And then last year, before this program got started, Oliver Anthony, he was just real. He was out in the woods with his guitar, a little bit of sound equipment, recorded a song, and it exploded. And I believe if we can move more people in the direction of that, that could be a huge movement.
I think the thing that people don't always get about the generation under us and younger, they don't need to depend on anyone else to get things done. That's one of the reasons that some of them don't engage in places like the church, because it used to be to make a difference in the world, to make your mark on the world, you had to attach yourself to a social service organization or a service club, or you would have to find a charity to align with or a church. And now when these kids want to do something, they crowdfund it, they peer fund it, they create their own LLCs. The world is at their fingertips almost. They have access to a completely different set of tools than we ever did. And so to create community for them, though, that's where they're struggling.
Yes.
They can see anything online. As far as if you want to see the best concert of your life, you can find it online. If you want to learn a skill, you can find it online through YouTube Music, through OutSchool, through all sorts of learning platforms. They have all this access to information, but they're lonely. They struggle because, especially having gone through COVID, their scholastic years were interrupted in some ways that delayed some of their development. And so for them to come in and for me to hear them say, I was scared when I walked in.
Yeah.
This was a ride and I didn't know where we were going. For them to have that kind of trust and step into that kind of an environment, because they didn't know one another. 90% of the kids that signed up for Academy last year walked in alone.
Right.
And to watch that bravery, watch them just be like, this thing looks kind of cool. I heard about it, or my parents heard about it. My church heard about it and told me about it. And for them to be brave enough to walk in alone and create community, that's the thing that I wanted to set us apart. Not to set us apart, but I think does set us apart is, yes, the kids are coming in, and even the rockers are coming in and they're learning how to sing, and they're learning, the basics of music theory and how to kind of read music and tell, am I going up? Am I going down? What does a harmony sound like? But more than anything else, they're coming in and they're leaving with a greater sense of community and belonging.
And purpose.
And especially for we say that especially for our older generation, but I see it in the younger ones too. And I could see the frustration on Michael's face. It was funny when I said, I know you guys were struggling and there were times I didn't step in. And I could see that frustrated him, as if I had betrayed him.
Right.
But part of it was them figuring out, look, I know he's getting on your last nerve. You're going to have to figure out how to work with him. And sometimes musicians don't have to develop that like athletes maybe
Right.
do. You can be on a softball team and want to strangle the life out of your teammate, but you can't because they're going to be, your catcher. So you have to figure it out. Musicians sometimes don't have that same sort of team building. And so that was part of the community that we wanted to build. So not only do we want to put our community on stage to showcase their talents, their gifts, their graces, but we also want to show them how to exist in community, how to exist and work together. Because if they, Miles, who was the lead singer of the Wonderlands, at a morning assembly, because we had an assembly time each morning before the day started, he said, look, I can teach you the skill of an instrument. We can teach you scales. We can teach you how to sing. I can teach you about music. I can teach you about songwriting. But if you're not a good person, if you can't hang with people, you're not going to make it.
Right, yeah.
It all comes down to, are you going to be able to function in a community? Are you going to be able to function in a band? Are you going to be able to function with other professionals? Are you going to be able to be in a tour bus or, though in the Wonderland's case, a van? I mean, that's the
crazy
stage
to
of
me.
career
That is
that
crazy.
they're at right now. They're touring. They have a van. And they're, what are you going to do when the equipment breaks? What are you going to do when, something goes completely wrong? Are you going to be able to hang? And so that's part of what we're teaching the kids too, is sometimes you got to figure out how to hang. So it's been a wild ride.
So many facets to it because like you just talked about, you're helping them learn how to build a community. You're trying to improve their skill and maybe get them interested in something else. I forget the kid's name, but like he played drums, but he had so many other instruments.
Yeah.
So, it's great to see what all you're building in these
Yeah.
kids through this program.
And it's fun watching them. Like some of them are very serious about the music. And some of them are just here to have fun and goof and watching them try to navigate that different, because they're all preteen and teenagers and they're learning how to human.
Yes.
They're learning how to people.
Yep.
And so to watch them, kind of navigate when one's frustrated because somebody else isn't practicing and we give them the lecture of the 10,000 hour rule. It takes 10,000 hours of practice to be good at something, and then watching their, eyeballs about fall out of their heads. What do you mean I have to do this for 10,000 hours?
Right, yeah.
And, it's just watching their personalities has been super cool, and getting to know them and doing life with them too. I mean, they've had some struggles. We've had life circumstances happen. We've had seasons where it's been tough, and them going through school and friend issues and loss of people that are important in their lives. And so we've gotten to walk with them through all of that kind of stuff. And that's just all part of it. It's not just about, as much as I love the music and I love watching them create, but it's so much more than that.
It's kind of funny to me too that when we asked them to be part of this podcast, nobody wanted to go. Nobody wanted to go first. Nobody wanted to be on camera.
Nobody wanted to be
and,
at all.
No, but they sat here and were very free with answers to their questions and
They did not have any prep time.
no prep time
I mean,
whatsoever. You
those-
called them into a room and said, "This is what we're doing."
Those answers were their truth.
Yes.
And it was cool. And even in the calling each other out, these kids didn't know each other last year. And
Yeah.
they're at that level of camaraderie where they can turn around and be like, yeah, that's your problem. That's your, that kind of brotherly, sibling-like
Sure.
ribbing. And it's pretty cool. It's one of the coolest things I've done. Granted, there were days that I was like, I could not do that again ever, because it's been a lot of hard work, and relationships are hard.
They really are. And to see them go from, well, I didn't see them enter the program, but I remember you telling me like everybody came in and they seemed like they were facing jail time when they came in.
They look like their parents had just dropped them off at the juvenile detention center.
Yeah.
They walked in real quiet. Everybody just sat down at the table like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen.
But then on that Saturday night,
Yeah.
a lot of them were crying because they didn't want it to be over with.
Yeah.
That tells me you're doing something great.
Yeah. And that's just the pureness of their feelings, because when a teenager is at a church on Saturday night,
Right.
that's when
And
we
their
did their
family.
showcase. We had the sanctuary packed.
Oh man, it was packed.
They played old time rock and roll, which I thought, I don't know, I might get in trouble for this one. And a Fleetwood Mac song. They sang Taylor Swift. We have to have conversations once in a while about appropriate, what's pushing it too far. But,
Right.
And
But
the
you
fact
can't
that
tell
they didn't
me
wanna try,
you
they didn't
can't
wanna
tell me
leave.
that that's not doing ministry.
Oh, so the Sunday after the showcase, so we had the academy all week, and then on Saturday they had a showcase, and they showcased all their work, and the content creators got to show photographs and digital media and all the stuff that they had done on CapCut and Canva and all that stuff.
And it was to their family, and we actually had a lot of church members come.
A
to
lot
support.
of church members came. A lot of the rockers came because they sang with the rockers, and so they were doing the showcase. And the next day in church, I showed pictures and I showed a video clip from the showcase, because in my mind I'm always thinking like, okay, people are going to say to me, what in the world does this have to do with Jesus? And I always want to circle back and say, what did Jesus' ministry look like? Jesus did not build a building and sit in it and wait for the day that everyone was going to wake up and go, oh, Jesus is over there waiting. Like, Jesus was at the weddings. Jesus was at the celebrations. Jesus was with people grieving. Jesus was with people celebrating. Jesus was feeding people. Jesus was loving people. Jesus was walking with people. That's what ministry looks like. And so if I can get to know you, because you and I both love music, if I can get to know you because of that, and then you can say to me, I'm really struggling with this because I just lost this person that's very important to me, and I don't know what to do with that. I'm 17 years old, and I can walk with you through that. That's Jesus.
Absolutely is.
If you can know yourself and know that you have worth, and I can say to you, I believe that you were created intentionally and lovingly, and you don't need to accept anything less than what God intended for you. That's Jesus. And celebration and community. Jesus was community. I mean, the scripture says that God said it was not good for us to be alone. And so anywhere that we make community, Christ is there. When two or more are gathered, Christ is there. You can't have community without Jesus, I believe. And so being able to know the kids, and I tell my people in my churches this all the time, the world is not going to suddenly wake up one Sunday and go, oh, we forgot to go to church our whole lives. Oh, can you believe that? That's not going to happen.
No, it's not.
We're generations out from people. We've got 2 and 3 generation deep people that have never set foot in a church. They don't know what we do. They don't know why we do it. They think it's weird. They don't get it. They don't get the verbiage. They don't know the language. And so if they can know us, that's the Bible they're going to read until they understand why they should read scripture. So we are Jesus in our communities. And it's not It's not going to be, I'm not an effective pastor if I sit in my office all the time. I think I'm called to be a presence in this community in whatever way, wherever I can meet people. I happen to love music. That happens to be one of my loves, and I think music is spiritual, whether it's spiritual music or not. I think it opens you up to a connection with God that other things maybe don't. People probably feel that way about art. I know people feel that way about nature. I feel that way about music. And I have gotten to meet so many wonderful people through Rockers, through Community on Stage Academy, through the programming that we've done with the kids that I would not have met. And I have had holy moments, sacred moments with them, not inside the walls of a church, but you can't tell me Jesus wasn't all over it.
Right. And what you and Sharp-Hope and maybe, is it Johnston or Johnson? And Laura Beta and the Wonderlands, not only are you guys trying to instill something in these kids, but you're also walking with them through life. And I firmly believe that what the experiences that they have in this program are going to stay with them through their entire lives.
I hope so. I hope it becomes a part of who they are, just woven into the fabric of who they are. And I hope that it's a good experience that they'll be able to look back on, like the old black and white pictures, as Cooper says.
Right.
And it just becomes part of their story. And I really hope so.
Yeah, I think it will, because just seeing how it's affected them. We've only had it 1 year, and then you've had the lab since then. And they know that, you guys provided a lot of equipment. It wasn't extremely expensive equipment. It was equipment that,
It felt extremely expensive when I was buying it.
yeah, I'm sure, because you bought a lot of it.
We sure did.
But it's stuff that can be accessible to them.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot when you're buying 15 guitars.
Right.
It's a lot when you're buying 15 keyboards. But yeah, it's stuff that they can get locally. We worked with Ed at Forte. These are all things that he would sell to young musicians coming in the door. That was part of the deal. We wanted it to be things that they could then utilize, things that they could get their hands on. And that's why we wanted it to be accessible here at the lab on Tuesdays, because we didn't want to use it for a week and then put it in storage for, the 360 days.
Right.
That seems bonkers. That doesn't seem like being a good steward. And we also want people, this building is humongous. I'm sitting at St. Paul's. It's humongous, and it's a resource. This is something God has given to us. And why should it sit empty 90% of the time? That doesn't make any sense. And so we try to bring community groups in to use the building, and Community on Stage is part of that. And they come in and use it for different things and different times. And the young people have gotten very accustomed to being here and hanging out. And even when they're not doing anything program related, they're comfortable here. You walk into the room, they're laying on beanbag chairs, talking to each other, and they're in a church on a weekday afternoon, just hanging out, and they're comfortable. They got their shoes off, and it feels like home. To me, that's church.
Absolutely is. Absolutely.
That this has become a place for them.
A place of safety and where they can just
And I would
be
rather
themselves.
have them be here than out there doing who knows what.
Yeah.
And so I'm so grateful to their parents for letting them come on Tuesdays. And yeah, they're learning stuff, but they're also safe and cared for and with community. So it's good stuff.
Absolutely amazing. I love the program. Wish I could be more of a part of it, but
Yeah, you unfortunately went for the first time in our 15-year marriage onto a day shift, and you were supposed to teach a class. So you
Right.
caused me a much consternation.
yes.
And
Which I typically do anyway.
which is a fairly regular Thanks. So, Community on Stage Summer Academy is enrolling now. If you have a young person between the ages of 11 and 16, you can head to our website at communityonstage.org. Check out all of the information about Academy. There is a registration link there that takes you to a registration form. There are scholarships available. It is costly to put this Academy on, to bring in the level of professionals that we bring in, but there are scholarships available because we don't want there to be any sort of barrier between any young person and a program that we offer. So I encourage you to check it out. You can check out our Facebook page as well, Community on Stage. If you are an older, seasoned person over the age of 55 and you're interested in the off-hour Rockers Community Chorus, we partnered with the Allen Irie Senior Center, and that chorus practices on Thursdays at 10 o'clock, 10 to 11:30. And so you can check that out. Again, you can look that up on Facebook. It's COS Rockers Chorus.
Awesome. And how do we want to end our podcast?
As we do every day, give them heaven.
Thanks for tuning in to Pastors and People Too. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe wherever you listen. It helps us reach more awesome folks like you. Drop us a 5-star rating if we've earned it, and let us know your thoughts in the comments or on social media. Catch you next time, and remember to give them heaven.